Okay. Hi, guys. Um, so I know what you're thinking. You're like, Mrs. Prettle, we've already learned how to round to the nearest 10. I know how to do this, which you're right. We have, but sometimes we have some tricky numbers. So I wanted to teach you how to do this using some trickier numbers. Okay. Um, so today what we're going to do is we're going to be still rounding to the nearest 10, not to the nearest 100, but we're going to be getting some numbers that are actually in the hundreds. So we're going to talk about, okay, what do I do when I've got a number that's actually in the hundreds, but I'm trying to round it to the nearest 10? Okay. So we still follow the same rules. We've got our tens written up here just to help us remember. We know that whenever we have a 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4, we round down, and we have a 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, we round up. Okay. But here's the difference. So last time we were talking about numbers that were just in the tens. So, for example, like 57 or 82. But today we're going to do some numbers that are bigger than that. So, for example, what if I have a number that's 273? And I say, okay, I want you to round that to the nearest 10. Well, here's what we do. So, what we first do is we want to start by underlining that number that's in the tens place again. So, if I look at 270, or sorry, if I look at 273, I know that the 7 is in the tens place. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm only worried about these two digits right here, the tens and the ones. I'm going to actually ignore that number in the hundreds place for right now. Okay. So, and I think I did this with you on our first day of rounding. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just cover it up. I'm going to pretend like that two's not even there. I'm just going to be worried about this number, 73. So I'm going to put my roof on top of 73. And I'm going to think about, okay, what's my 10 that comes before 73? Remember, I can just take this digit here, write it down, and then take that one and turn it into a 0. Okay? So 70 would come before 73. Then I want to think, okay, what's my 10 that comes after 70? Well, that would be 80. And I'm going to write that on my house. Okay? Now, again, I need to put my arrow pointing at my ones place. So remember, you always look at that number that's right to the right of whatever it is you're rounding. Okay? And I see that it's a 3. And I know that when I have a 3, that tells me I need to round down, which means I'm going to be picking the smaller number. So the smaller number between 70 and 80 is 70. So I'm going to circle 70. Okay. But here's the deal. I can't say that my answer is 70 because I still have that number right there. So what I need to do is, in order to show that I'm rounding to that 70, is I'm going to write the whole number out. So I'm going to put an equal sign. That 200 is still there. So I'm going to put the 200. Then I'm going to take that 70 and I'm going to write it right after the 200. So if I'm rounding 273 to the nearest 10, it actually rounds to 270. Okay, let's do another one like that. Okay, let's say I have the number 452. Okay, 452. So I want to round it to the nearest 10, which means I need to underline the number that's in the tens place. So as you can tell, there is a 5 in the tens place. So I'm going to underline that 5. Then I'm going to cover up that 4 because I don't want to worry about it. That's 400. I'm going to put my roof on top of 52. I'm going to think to myself, okay, what's my 10 that comes before 52? That's right, it's 50. And then I'm going to think to myself, okay, what's my 10 that comes after 50? That's right, it's 60. Okay. Now I'm going to take a look at my ones place, the 2. Does 2 tell me to round up or round down? That's right, it makes me round down. So I'm going to pick that smaller number. I'm going to put a circle around it. Okay. But remember, I'm not done. If you show me this on your paper, I'm going to say, what does it round to? Because you rounded 50, and I don't think that 452 rounds to 50, right? So remember, you need to go ahead and add that 400 back, and it's 450, okay? These are a little bit trickier, right? But it follows the same pattern. The only thing that's different is I kind of just need to ignore the hundreds for then, or while I'm doing it, and then add it back, don't I? Okay, let's try another one like that. So let's try 971. This is going to be a tricky one. All right. So first step, underline the tens place. That's right. So let's underline that 10. All right. I'm going to cover up my 900 because I don't care about it right now. I'm just going to ignore it for right now. I'm going to build my house, my roof right on top of that 71. All right. I've got 71. What's the 10 before 71? That's right, it's 70. All right, what's the 10 that comes after 70? If I need to, I can look up here. Oh, 80. Okay, now I'm going to take a look at my ones place. Does 1 tell me to go up or down? It tells me to go down, right? So that tells me I'm going to circle my smaller number. All right, now I got to bring back that 900. So I'm going to put an equal sign over here. And all I have to do is add back that 900 and put my 70. That actually wasn't so tricky, was it? I was trying to scare you a little bit. All right, let's try another one. Okay, let's do 688. 688. All right, so you should have your piece of paper out, and I want you to try this one with me now. Okay? All right, so write down 688 on your paper. Let's go ahead and underline the tens place. Okay, there's my 10. All right, now remember, I'm going to just ignore that 600 for right now, and I'm going to build my roof on top of 88. I bet some of you are getting really fast at this, aren't you? So what's my 10 that comes before 88? That's right, 80. And then what's the 10 that comes after 80? 90. Okay, let's take a look at the ones place. Does that 8 tell me to go up or down? That's right, that one tells me to round up, so I'm going to circle the bigger number this time. Okay, so I circled the 90. Now let's go back and take our finger off. Now, to give our final answer, remember we have to add back that 100. So we would have 690. Okay? All right, let's try another one. You guys are going to do this one. All right, let's do, actually, I'm going to do this one with you because this is going to be a tricky one. All right, let's do the number 296. 296. Okay. Now, we start from the beginning. We're going to go ahead and underline that tens place. Okay. I'm going to cover up that 200 because I don't care about it right now. And I'm going to build my roof on top of 96. Okay, so I've got 96. So what's my 10 that comes before 96? That's right, it's 90. And then what's the 10 that comes after 96? Yeah, 100. Ooh, I think this might be a tricky one. Okay, so now I'm going to take a look at that ones place, put my arrow, and I notice that it's a 6. And when it's a 6, that tells me I need to round up, doesn't it? Okay, so that means I'm picking the bigger number. So I'm going to circle the 100. But I have a problem here because I have this 200, right? So now I've got a 200 and I've got a 100. Now I'm not just going to write 2 100. That doesn't make sense. But what I have to do is I have to add those up. So the 200 and the 100 would equal 300. Now look at this number, 296. That number is really close to 300, isn't it? So when you think about it that way, it really makes sense, doesn't it? So if I round 296 to the nearest 10, it would actually turn into 300. Okay, so that was kind of a tricky one. All right, let's try one more. And I want you to do this one. I want to see how far you can get on this one, as far as you can. Okay, all right, let's do the number 125. Um, 125, and I want you to round that to the nearest 10. Okay, so you can go ahead and pause the video if you need a little bit more time. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and start. But make sure you've tried this one on your own before you listen to me do it, okay? All right, so I'm going to underline the number in the tens place, which is the 2. Okay, I'm going to cover up my hundreds. I'm going to build my roof on top of 25. Okay, now, did you figure out what the 10 is before 25? Did you say 20? I hope you did. Okay, and then what's the 10 that comes after 20? Did you say 30? Yeah? Okay, good. All right, did you put an arrow pointing to your ones place? Excellent. Now, 5. What does 5 tell me to do? It tells me to round up, doesn't it? So I'm going to pick the bigger number this time. So 20 and 30, I know that 30 is bigger. Okay. Now, did you leave it like this? I hope not. Remember, you have to tell me what the final answer is. You have to make sure you include that hundreds place. So for this one, you should have written 130. All right, boys and girls. Like I said, this is a little trickier, but if you follow all the steps, you should do just fine. All right, so boys and girls, when you do this math practice, again, we're going to do it like we've been doing it with rounding. We're going to make sure that we do it on a different piece of paper, and then we take a picture and we insert it into our work so that I can see how you're doing and I can see if you need a little bit of extra help or if you've got the hang of it. All right, boys and girls, good job.